All right.
Hi, I'm Jason,
And I'm Jason.
and this is Jay Talking. This is officially our second episode.
Yeah, we're pros at this. We did it like 10 minutes ago.
Okay, start.
That's supposed to be a trade secret. You can't reveal that to the audience. We're gonna totally edit that out in post.
Anybody that's done any editing knows that you can change a shirt and do another episode in like 2 minutes.
Well, anyway, notwithstanding that, I'm currently looking for a co-host for this show. Preferably someone with a first name that begins with J.
Since we've already got our Twitter account.
Yes, it's set in stone now. So come see us at what is it again?
I forget. We'll have to look it up later.
We'll have the Twitter handle for you next episode. So our previous episode, we discussed fruit and the merits of it.
And mushrooms.
And mushrooms, which I've since found out are not a fruit.
And are gross.
My bad. Sorry about that. So today, I guess we wanted to maybe bring up a little bit of tough stories for us. You know, we used to wait tables for a living, and so we've got some stories from waiting on you normal people, and maybe from a couple of these stories you might learn how not to act when you're being waited on. So, not that we want to alienate our viewer base here, but you know who you are, the ones that are tough to wait on.
Tip your servers properly.
Yes. No, 10% is not a tip.
No. It's an insult.
I don't care what Oprah says. Okay. All right. So I don't know. I guess I can kind of kick off the stories a little bit. The very first table that I had the opportunity to wait on when I was a lowly busboy. My boss was swamped, and he called me over and said I could take a table. And I was, of course, overjoyed and a little bit nervous. So I went
Shout out
up.
to Ken, by the way.
Yes, shout out to Ken Rokes, who's now down in sunny South Carolina, while we're all up here in the frozen tundra of the north.
Can we use last names?
We just did. We can always apply the little bleep out later.
That's fine. We're
To
going to sign a release.
to all our friends, we're not using bad language. We're just hiding a name. Anyhow, my very first table, I go up there, and it turns out the fellow at the table is a belligerent drunk, and he's already had several drinks to that point. So, me being the green waiter that I am, and nervous enough as it was, about 15, 20 minutes into waiting on these people, I ended up having to shut the guy off, which was the first time I've had to do that, and actually the only time I had to do it in my waiting career. It happened to be on my first party. So that was pretty stressful, but it was trial by fire. And by the end of the night, people kept leaving the table. It started with a party of 6. It went to a party of 5, 4, 3. By the time it was done, it was just the drunk and his wife, who was very embarrassed. So to all you people that imbibe in alcohol, do it sparingly.
You sure they didn't leave just because you're not a good waiter?
I immediately discounted that because, as anyone would know, I'm awesome. So.
I guess you did serve me once. You did a pretty good job.
That's right.
So did you not take to waiting immediately? It was a little stressful to start with?
It actually was a period of months before I ended up taking another table after that, because I was still just a lowly busboy.
No kidding.
Which, they deserve to be tipped too, just so you know.
Yeah, but servers that work with busboys, you tip your servers. You tip your busboys.
But how often does that actually happen, Jason? Come on.
I did it all the time. I was never a busboy, at least not in a restaurant that counted as a restaurant. I worked at a Marina West restaurant for like 6 weeks and made, I think $5 over the course of a summer. It was pretty pathetic.
My point exactly.
Didn't you work at the Loon's Nest too?
I never did.
You didn't. Oh, it must have been a couple
Shout
of
out
other
to the
guys.
Loon's Nest.
Yeah, them too. So, I actually got a chance to work at the same restaurant Jason did, which was kind of fun. I went in not as a busboy, but as a server. And my first night training was literally, I trained for 20 minutes, and we were so busy, they're just like, "Are you comfortable taking a table?" I'm like, "Sure, why not?" So, I can't say that I remember my first table in specifically, but I do remember I took to it pretty quick. I kind of enjoyed it. I'm kind of a talkative kind of person, so I just talked to him, and learned how to scribble things quickly because I can't write clearly anyways. So I just had to make signs for everything. I drew chickens and French fries and burgers for everything. My waiter shorthand. So I'm trying to think. Any one particular table that I had, I don't remember specifically, but I do remember our kitchen was upstairs, and the biggest table I ever served was a table of 21 people. And I was able to get all but 4 dinners on one tray coming down a flight of stairs. That was 17 plates on one tray. The general manager was mad at me for trying to do it, but I was pretty excited about it.
That's impressive.
I was impressed.
Yeah, and I've dropped a tray.
The tables were the people at the table were impressed too.
They're
like, you carried all that? I'm like, yes, I did. Remember that in your tip.
Yeah, my back is now broken, but your dinner is here.
Oh, tough.
I've dropped a tray on that flight of steps, which became infamous among some of the waiters that worked at the same restaurant, and it's not fun. It's quite embarrassing.
It happens occasionally.
Tell me about the tartar sauce incident.
The tartar sauce. Oh, the tartar sauce. Andre, yeah. So,
Shout out to Andre.
Andre, yeah. Andre's a good guy. So anyways, the crew's laughing at us. It's kind of distracting us. So, we were at a particularly busy night, and I was looking for tartar sauce in the kitchen. I couldn't find any anywhere. I'm like, Andre, I need some tartar sauce. And Andre's Polish, so he had a very interesting way of speaking. He said, are you sure you don't look everywhere? And Andre, I looked everywhere. I couldn't find it. I make you some. And then he gets out all his stuff, and he's chopping up pickles because we couldn't find any relish either. So we chopped up the pickles and got it all diced up in mayonnaise and mixed it together. And it's like, all right, here's your tartar sauce. And I'm just getting ready to walk out of the kitchen. And Andre happens to walk over to the fridge and finds a big, I don't know if it's a 5-gallon bucket, but it was a lot of tartar sauce that somehow I managed to not see. And he wasn't real happy with that.
We still talk about that to this day every time I go over to his house for dinner. So it left a scar.
Glad I stuck in his memory. Actually, you know what? I do have a story from when I first started waiting, which is kind of funny. Our executive chef at the time, a little bit of a grump, but I got used to handling him. He wasn't too bad by the time we were done with him. You have no love, do you? I can feel it. Some love?
Let's move past this.
All right.
We'll try to keep the show positive.
Moving along. So anyways, executive chef. Next night I came back. I was a little awkward in the kitchen, having never worked in the kitchen before. So the next night I come back and the executive chef pulls me aside. He's like, all right, man, I'm assuming that this isn't your first time doing it. I'm like, no, this isn't my first time doing it. That was last night. At which point he explained his point to me, but he didn't find the humor in it as that I did. Everybody else seemed to think it was pretty funny.
Well, I mean, the only reason he assumed that is because you were so good at what you were doing.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, anytime...
Wow, there wasn't much point to that story, was it?
Anytime...
Just an anecdote.
Anytime you deal with the public on a regular basis, there's going to be incidents and different scenarios that occur that will not really happen in anyone else in any type of other job. I mean, I currently now, as my day job is I'm a web developer, and it's kind of nice to just sit in my corner and not have to talk to anybody except for my wife and my son and this guy every now and then. Yeah, but yeah, so it's nice.
So did you thoroughly enjoy being a waiter, or was it just kind of something you did?
You know, waiting tables, I would probably do it again sometime in the future just because it was good exercise, getting to run around, talk to the predominant number of the people in the public was fun. You never knew what they were going to say or do. I mean, I had a woman that asked me to babysit her kids after waiting on them one evening, and that was a little awkward.
That is awkward. So
just people that are watching, don't offer babysitting duties to somebody you just met at a restaurant as your waiter. It's not socially acceptable. So I mean, I didn't take it. I don't want to steal all our time here, but another quick story. I did kiss a woman for a tip before.
Really?
That never happened to you?
No.
I thought this happened to everybody.
That being said, I wouldn't say that I didn't have opportunity to do so.
nice recovery. But it was working a busy night, and my brother Ben was actually working at the same time. And there was this woman that she was a grandmotherly type of woman, so don't get any ideas here. My wife did not punch me after this, so that tells you a little bit how it went. But she was just throwing the cash around. Every time my brother would walk by, she would give him a $10 or $20 bill just for walking by. So at the time, we were getting ready to go on vacation, so every little dollar counted. So I went over to her just in jest, and I was like, "Well, that's my brother. Aren't you going to give me any money?" So she rolls out a 20 and starts to hand it to me, and then she kind of pulls it back at the last second and leans forward and points at her cheek. So I, being the good sport that I am, gave her a quick peck on the cheek, and she handed me my $20. So
That's shameless.
when you're a young family, you got to do what you got to do, and yeah.
That's shameless.
I'm sure she's probably telling this story somewhere wherever she is, unless she's passed on.
My goodness. I would have expected differently.
So you don't have any, that doesn't bring to mind a situation that you were in, or...
Boy, no, well, I got pulled onto the dance floor every now and then, because our restaurant had a dance floor in it, which was kind of annoying, trying to carry a tray of drinks and getting pulled onto a dance floor. Made for some interesting moves.
I've never seen you dance on a dance floor.
Probably a good thing.
Yeah, let's try to keep it that way, actually.
Got no moves.
Yeah, it comes with the territory of being a white man from Maine.
I can put down some moves on some slippery ice to keep my feet under me, but nothing much better than that.
Well said. Well, it's been another productive episode. I mean, if you've lasted this long, congratulations.
If you have any comments and you don't think we're completely ridiculous, let us know. Or if you think we are completely ridiculous.
Post it down there in the comment section, right down below us.
Right there.
Yeah. And if you want to subscribe, the button's either up there or up there. I'm not really sure.
And we'll eventually getting around to putting up some more episodes if anybody watches us.
Yeah, right. Well, and once we have our millionth subscriber, we'll invite the millionth subscriber gets to be a guest on the show. I'm going to say that right now.
Who's flying them out here? What if they're from a long ways away?
You're the one from money. Come on.
What?
Well, we'll work this out later. But for now, thanks for watching.
We could Skype with them. FaceTime. Everybody's getting an iPod.
This is important. It's the millionth subscriber. Come on.
What if we sent him an iPod to FaceTime with?
Like ship it in an overnight envelope?
Yeah. COD, of course.
He's so cheap.
Bye.